Every Spring Boot developer has experienced this. You run application, wait for a second, and suddenly your API starts working. But what actually happened during those few seconds? Did Spring Boot magically create everything, or is it structured? Let's break it. The first entry point for Spring Boot application is your Spring application. If I show you in IntelliJ, this is the main application class. And then it starts creating the application context. Technically, Spring Boot usually creates an implementation called annotation config application context. Instead of think it as the container where all your controller services, repositories, and configuration objects reside. The third step is application component scanning. You have already mentioned in your application Spring Boot application annotation, where this annotation is where you have already mentioned the component scan. It does the component scanning by for at the rate component, at the rate services, repositories, and controller. Think of it as someone scanning for all the employee roles in the company. Then we have auto configuration magic. Like explained in the previous video, this is enabled using enable auto configuration. So if you have database dependencies in your class path, as in your on your build.gradle file or in your pom.xml, then it creates the database classes and it injects all the required objects. And the fifth part is where bean creation and dependency injection happens. In all the above steps, we have the template which beans and which objects has to be created. So it creates the objects and it does the dependency injection. Think of it as assembling a car which has engines, wheels, steering. So you are assembling all the objects required for your Spring Boot application. And the last step is starting your embedded server. It is called embedded because it has Tomcat server embeddedly. You don't have to mention it in your pom.xml or build.gradle. These starts the servers and your application is up for receiving the get, post, put, delete methods. And this is how your Spring Boot application works. So in simple terms, Spring Application bootstraps the framework. Application context container is created. Component scanning registers beans. Auto configuration configures the dependencies. Beans are created and injected. Embedded Tomcat server starts, and your application is ready.